What's up, y'all? If we haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Maria from Following Maria. And in today's video, we're going to be going over how you can pay off your debt even on a low budget. I touched lightly about my debt-free journey a couple months back when I talked about my goals for 2021 and how last year I was able to pay off my debt. I'll link that video up above so y'all can go ahead and see that. But in this journey of paying off over $8,000 in personal loans as well as credit card debt, I learned a lot of things along the way. And this is something that took me years to develop and years to pay off just because the number one thing wasn't right, which was my relationship with money. I realized really quick as I started paying off some debt and then racking it back up and paying off some debt and racking back up. The reason why I kept getting into debt is because I did not fix my mentality and my relationship with my finances. And if you don't fix your mentality first, you can pay off that debt, but it's gonna rack back up and come back at you later on down the road. Being able to pay off your debt is completely worth it. For me, my credit score went up almost 200 points, which opens up so many other avenues. You can get approved for better interest rates for cars, for houses. You'll be able to get approved for credit cards. And I know this might sound crazy, especially talking about paying off credit card debt and personal loan debt. But the third benefit to it is being able to be approved for incredible credit cards that can really help you out in saving down the road and give you a lot of amazing perks, just like travel perks, which I am obsessed with. I want to acknowledge that even being able to pay off debt and having this conversation is a huge privilege because there is a percentage of the population where systematically the odds are completely stacked against them. And if there's any way that I can help with my own story and my own journey and even give you inches and centimeters closer to that debt-free life, I'm here to help out. So these are things that I recommend you do right now before you even stop paying off a dime, is have a no spend month. I'm currently in a no spend month right now. What no spend months are when you go an entire month without buying anything that isn't a necessity. So utilities and rent. Those are necessities. Food, because you need to live and to breathe, that's a necessity. So give yourself a very strict budget on your groceries. Don't be going crazy because now you have all this money for food. I'm currently in an Amazon no spend month. I had my boyfriend change my password on my Amazon account and I'm not allowed to touch it for an entire month. And I wanna let y'all know, no spend months, when I first tried it, was really, really hard. So I broke it down to no spend weeks. And in the beginning, like the beginning of my journey when I was mending my relationship with my finances, I did no spend days as baby steps. And every single day that I didn't spend anything that was completely unnecessary, it was a huge win for me because I was constantly just letting money fly out the door. As difficult and as embarrassing and as much of a struggle and a challenge that it may be, go into every single one of your accounts, your personal loans, your student loans, your credit card debt, your car payments, and add those totals up and date it. I knew that I personally was spending way beyond my means, and I knew that I was just building up more and more debt, but I didn't realize how deep I was into credit card and personal loan debt until I actually looked up all of my individual credit card accounts, added them all up, and created a running tally. And the reason why I never realized how deep I was in is because I didn't want to face the fact that I had an issue. Most people don't even want to look at their accounts and just continue paying minimum payments. And I realized that if I continued to make minimum payments on everything, it would take me a minimum of 10 years to pay off over $8,000. Nah, y'all. I had to change that real quick. The next thing that you want to do is figure out what your spending triggers are. What I realized mine were Amazon haul videos on YouTube. Right when I saw something that I may remotely like and I heard about how the specific YouTuber was raving about it, I had to have it and I bought it immediately. Those were very surface level, but those were triggers. But I realized that I was still spending even if I wasn't watching those Amazon hauls. My biggest thing that I realized is that I have a huge fear of loss when it comes down to experiences, things, and my money. And this stems from childhood where I kept hearing, we don't have the money for it, we can't afford it right now. And as I grew up into adulthood, I didn't want to miss out on things that I missed out on when I was younger, like being able to play club lacrosse or being able to get the latest gadgets and things that all my other friends and all my other cousins were having, like the coolest iPod or the coolest game. And y'all, it's not like we actually didn't have the money. which is something that I realized later on in adulthood that took a lot of personal development and a lot of realization. But it's more so my parents were making super smart financial decisions that they didn't want to waste money on things that weren't a priority, unlike saving up for me and my brother's college tuition or saving up for a really comfy retirement. I had to learn the same mentality that my parents have and other people that are financially responsible have, and that is differentiating what is a priority versus what is just a want. I had to learn to not feel embarrassed when I told my friends, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna go out tonight. Or you know what? I'm actually not gonna go on this upcoming trip because it's not a priority for me right now. To former Maria, that's something that was really, really difficult to admit. I had to eliminate those mental barriers and also semi-tangible digital barriers as well. To address my triggers on YouTube whenever I saw haul videos and fashion videos, I unfollowed and unsubscribed every single one of those users and every single one of those influencers that encouraged me and influenced me to purchase something that I really didn't need. I also muted or unfollowed friends, family members that were constantly showing off things because then I would want those things too. And I encourage you to unsubscribe from any and all retail emails that talk about, oh, you have a buy one, get one off. Eliminate all those temptations. The next one is cut down on your expenses. Go through your bank statements, all the credit card, debit card statements, and see what you were making purchase on for 2 or 3 months. And see what were continuous and repeated ones. For every single one of those purchases, go over if they were really a necessity. Do you really need Amazon Prime, especially when it makes it easier to spend? No. Is having Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Premium really a necessity? Cancel all of them. Is your cell phone plan really that amazing to be spending $150 per month, especially when there are great carriers out there for $15 or $20 a month like Mint Mobile? No. And then there are some of the biggest expenses, just like utilities and even rent. Can you possibly downgrade the place that you're living at right now so you can afford a better lifestyle later on down the line? By looking for a place that's $200, $300, $400, maybe even half the amount of rent that you're paying right now? Can you move into that smaller place for just a season of your life so you can afford to have a better life later on? Are you able to find a roommate? Or can you move back in with your family to either pay zero rent or a lesser amount of rent than right now? I moved back in with my parents when I realized how much of an issue I had with money and how dumb it was to be spending about $900 per month on rent and utilities in a shared room. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of the strategies, and there are 3 major strategies that we talk about here. So the first one is the snowball effect. And this is popularized by Dave Ramsay. He talks about this all the time. If you don't know who he is, you can look him up. He's all about paying off your debt and living a debt-free life. I'll leave resources in my bio below so y'all can go ahead and check it out and see other financial YouTubers that can help you out in your journey. The snowball effect is based off of paying off your biggest amount of your debt first, and then your second biggest amount, and it snowballs and you're gaining momentum of just really paying off that debt really quickly. Another iteration of that is paying off the debt with the highest interest rates first and then the lowest interest rates last. And then the last strategy is the complete reverse of all of that, and it's paying off the lowest amount first, just so you get that quick and fast win. And what that quick win does is it builds up your confidence, especially when paying off your debt is something that is so mentally difficult. I went with this strategy because I personally just really needed a quick win. And by doing so, that actually allowed me to be able to believe in myself even more that I can take this on. Now, this is only the tip of the iceberg when it comes down to tips that I have to paying down debt. So if y'all want a part 2 to this, make sure to like and subscribe. And also please make sure to comment any other tips that you had on your debt-free journey or even the debt-free journey that you're going through right now. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.